Hey everyone, in this video we will explain the nested loop. So the nested loop means that we have a loop inside another loop. So for example, this is the code we wrote in the previous lesson. So if I copy this part and then paste it inside the loop, so I'll have one loop inside another loop. Now this is the external loop and this is the internal loop. So for example, the counter for external loop is I and the counter for the internal loop is J. So this is J, this is also J, and this is also J. Okay, and don't forget that this I++ is related to the external loop. So this is the first part, second part, and the third part. And this is the internal loop. Now in this line, we can use, for example, or we can write the value of J and then high, as you can see. So now if we click run, oh, the condition is false. So this I less than 11. Also this I less than 11. Now if we click run, as you can see, so this is 0 0 0 1 0 2 0 3 and then finally end with 10 10. So in the first column it is the value of I, and in the second column it's the value of J. So as you can see, he executes the internal loop, and after the end of the internal loop he will go to execute the external loop, or he will continue to execute the external loop. So now the value of I is 0, as you can see, and then the value of J, which is the internal loop, changes. So 0 1 2 3 4 5 until it reaches to the 10, and then also the value of I remain at 1 and the value of J changes from 0 to 10. Now we can, for example, start the counter with 1 and then just click run. As you can see, he'll start with the 1 1 and end with the 10 10. And now we can, for example, print the multiplication table. So for example, here the value of I and then multiply by the value of J and then equal to the value of I multiplied by the value of J. Oh, we shouldn't use the $sign inside the curly braces. So now this single line should print the multiplication table from 1 to 10. As you can see, 1 multiplied by 1 equal to 1, and then finally until it reaches to 10 multiplied by 10 equal to 100. So the first number represents the value of I and the second number represents the value of J, and this multiplication sign is just a text and then equal to the value of I multiplied by J. So this is the nested loop. We use the nested loop when we have two dimensions. The first tape is while loop, the second tape is do while, and the principle is the same. So now if we cut this part and tape do, and at the end of the braces, so here we can paste it and end it with a semicolon. Also cut this part and replace it with a do, and at the end of the braces we can use while and then a semicolon. If we click run, as you can see, the multiplication table, the same result. So this is the second tape. The third tape is for statement. The for statement is different, so I'll make it a comment and we can take the code of for statement. Okay, so now I equal to 1, and then I is less than 11, which means it ends with the 10. And inside this for loop, we can repeat or copy another for loop. So now we have internal for loop and external for loop. The principle is the same. And in this line, we can print anything. We can use the value of I, and also this second value, we can name it J, and here we can use the value of I and J. So for example, we can copy this line and paste it, and now he should give me the same result. So the whole multiplication table, as you can see, from 1 multiplied by 1 equal to 1 until 10 multiplied by 10 equal to 100. So this is the nested loop.